What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the latest news from here in Taipei. One of the world's biggest tech shows, Computex, has kicked off with a big announcement from Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, giving long-awaited details of the company's new Taiwan headquarters. Chris Gorn was there for the announcement, and he now joins us live from Taipei. Chris, what do we know about this Taipei office?
Well, Eric, we know the name of the office. They're calling it Constellation, and we know its approximate location in Taiwan's capital city, Taipei. They actually had at the keynote an animation of the office building as a spaceship, flying in from outer space and landing in Taipei's Beito Shilin area. Here's Huang making the announcement.
As you know, we have been growing, and all of our partnerships with you have been growing. And so I'm going to build them a brand new NVIDIA Taiwan office, and it's called NVIDIA Constellation.
Now, there had been a lot of speculation that it might be in another part of the city or even another city altogether, but it looks like Taipei won out in the end. Now, as for what this new office means for Taiwan, I spoke to a local semiconductor expert here at the keynote, and here's what they had to say.
Yeah, of course, that's really exciting because currently we see Nvidia make lots of investment worldwide, and apparently Taiwan is the most important one for him to build a new site, especially in Taipei. And also he highlight the AI infra, a new partner with TSMC and Foxconn. It's actually demonstrate how aggressive Nvidia want to invest in Taiwan. So that's a very good news for us.
Now, Huang did also mention that the Taipei city mayor told him that the building would still need the approval of the people before it could be built, and jokingly told the audience that they should call the mayor and express their support for the project. Now, it's not clear if there is an actual real extra level of approval that's needed or if he was just joking. But with this new office in Taipei, it's clear that Nvidia is betting big on Taiwan for its future business.
And Chris, aside from this new office, were there any other big announcements at the keynote?
Well, Huang did announce that Nvidia would be working with the Taiwanese government and local companies TSMC and Foxconn to build Taiwan's AI infrastructure. He didn't elaborate more on what that meant, but there had been a separately announced new project for a 10,000 GPU supercomputer in the southern city of Kaohsiung with those same companies, so it seemed to be referring to that. But just in general, in this keynote, Huang really emphasized the point that AI should no longer be thought of as a technology, but actually as a kind of infrastructure. And Nvidia is an infrastructure company, and that data centers should be thought of as AI factories. And a lot of the products that were also debuted in this keynote were really more for that data center and enterprise level use of AI rather than everyday consumer products. And at the same time, Nvidia and Jensen Huang has been going all around the world making new deals to build massive data centers, the most recent being in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. And since Nvidia depends so heavily on Taiwanese companies to produce their products, it's perhaps no surprise that they're expanding their operations here in Taiwan.
Thanks, Chris. That was Chris Gorn live from Taipei. The Coast Guard in Taiwan is asking for more funding for better detection technology after a Chinese man appears to have sailed to Taiwan and back in a dinghy. Reese Ayers has more on this latest in a string of boat crossing cases. Reese, is it really possible that this man sailed the Taiwan Strait in a rubber boat?
Well, difficult but not impossible is what Taiwan's Coast Guard are saying. This particular case came to light after the man himself posted videos on social media. Now, he's claiming that he traveled from the coast of Fuzhou, which is in China's Fujian province, all the way across the Taiwan Strait to Guanyin Beach in Taoyuan, which is on the northwest coast of Taiwan. And he says that he did this on May 15th. Now, that's a total distance of about 175 kilometers. He says he made that journey in just 9 hours, and he appears to have gone back the way he came because he wasn't apprehended here in Taiwan. Now, as I mentioned, he said he posted those videos on Douyin, which is China's version of TikTok, boasting that he'd made that journey, showing a video of him on the beach in Taiwan with a Chinese flag planted in the sand behind him. In another video, there's a small shrine in his boat with a message that says that he's doing this to help reclaim Taiwan for China. And these videos have been verified. They do appear to show the places and the times that the man was claiming. But given how difficult this journey would have been, not impossible but difficult, the Coast Guard is saying they're not ruling out the possibility that he could have been dropped off somewhere maybe in the middle of the Taiwan Strait, out of the range of radars, and then made the remainder of the journey on his own in that small dinghy. But this beach, has been used before by Taiwan's military for drills. It is a high-risk point for a Chinese invasion, as many of the beaches or coastlines around Taiwan are. But detection equipment, as of right now, just struggles to pick up smaller vessels like these.
And Reese, this is not the first landing on this particular stretch of coast, is it? Are incidents like these exposing a weakness in Taiwan's maritime defense?
Well, right. On Friday the 16th, which was just a day after the man claims that he landed, 2 Chinese people were arrested for making a similar journey to a similar point in Taiwan. That brings the total number of cases just so far this year to 5, involving 38 people, 36 of which were arrested. And typically those that are caught, they face fines or deportation or even short prison sentences. And they claim a variety of reasons for making those journeys. Some say they're doing it for China. Some say that they're escaping political persecution in China. But, a few individuals in a few boats maybe doesn't pose so much of a national security risk for Taiwan. They still are able to detect those bigger vessels floating around. But it is prompting the Coast Guard to highlight China's ongoing grey zone warfare tactics. This could be an example of that if, some of those people that are speculating are correct, that he was dropped off by a larger vessel in the middle of the strait. But now the Coast Guard is calling for more funding. They want better equipment, better radar systems for detecting smaller vessels, including using infrared technology and drones. Taiwan has over 1,800 kilometers of coastline. It's very difficult to patrol, and beaches and coasts around the country, Taiwan would need to defend those if China was to launch an attack. And this week is the 1-year anniversary of President Lai Ching-te's inauguration, and so the Coast Guard are on high alert of any more crossings of that kind.
Thanks, Reese. That was Reese Ayers reporting live from our Taipei newsroom. Now, China appears to be ramping up military activity around Taiwan ahead of the 1-year anniversary of President Lai Ching-te's inauguration. Taiwan's defense ministry says it spotted 21 Chinese military aircraft and 8 naval vessels operating nearby in the 24-hour period up to Monday morning. Now, 16 of those aircraft entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ, which is not Taiwan's airspace but does act as a defensive buffer zone. Military also spotted 3 official ships operating around the country. Officials here say they do expect Chinese military exercises later in the week. President Lai is hoping the inauguration of Pope Leo XIV won't just be a new chapter for the Roman Catholic Church, but also a starting point for closer Taiwan-Vatican ties. As John Van Trieste reports, Taiwan's envoy at the papal inauguration has passed on Lai's hopes and an invitation.
Pope Leo XIV waves to the 250,000 Catholics, dignitaries, and other visitors gathered in St. Peter's Square for his inauguration. The crowd is gathered from all corners of the world. They include well-wishers from the U.S., excited to see the first ever pope from their country.
Very, very excited. He's the first American pope. Yes, we're very proud of that.
And closer to home, Italian Catholics.
I like his personality and hope he can continue on the path paved by Pope Francis.
Security is tight as dignitaries and heads of state gather for an inaugural mass. Representing Taiwan is former Vice President Chen-Jen, a leading member of Taiwan's small Catholic community. The Vatican is one of 12 states that have formal diplomatic ties with Taiwan, and the only one in Europe. So even at a time when Taiwan is shut out from many big global events due to Chinese objections, it's still able to have a presence at those connected to the papacy. At this papal inauguration, he's had a chance to rub shoulders with other dignitaries, like U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. But Chen has also arrived with a message and an invitation for the new pope.
总统很关心台湾之间能不能够更上层楼，然后彼此之间呢有更多的互信，然后彼此的邦谊能够更加的促进。当然，我们也很盼望教宗有一天能够来拜访台湾。
Taiwan is home to just a few hundred thousand of the world's more than 1 billion Catholics. But its president hopes the arrival of the new pope will help strengthen one of the country's oldest diplomatic alliances. Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Ahead of the 78th World Health Assembly, Taiwan and its international allies are speaking up for its participation at the annual health forum.
But I just want to say, who is the World Health Organization? They are the WHO that doesn't allow Taiwan to become a member.
This marks the 9th year that Taiwan has been excluded from the WHO, that's the decision-making body of the World Health Organization. Civic groups from Taiwan have been rallying for its participation, drawing supporters from more than 25 countries. Meanwhile, Taiwanese officials have also been speaking in Geneva, reaffirming their commitment to global medical aid and their efforts to join the WHO.
台湾长期以来拥有的是很高品质的医疗品质，以及人民对世界其他国家人民的热爱。那世界的健康也是一体的。怎么样的一个变化，我们都非常的把我们的最好的医疗跟防疫的经验跟专业。 持续的跟世界各国来分享。
The WHO is set to begin on Monday and will run through May 27th. Former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. His medical team says because the cancer is hormone sensitive, it can likely be managed. Concerns about Biden's age and health followed him throughout his presidency. His son, Beau Biden, died of brain cancer in 2015. China says it will impose anti-dumping tariffs on a type of plastic imported from Taiwan, Japan, the U.S., and the European Union. The U.S. faces a steep tariff of nearly 75% on POM copolymers, an engineering plastic commonly used in auto parts and medical devices. Taiwan's exports will be hit with a rate of just over 32%. The Chinese Commerce Ministry says an investigation found that the material was being dumped at unfair prices. Taiwan's Economic Ministry says it's working to open new markets beyond China and has already cut its plastic exports there by 25% compared to last year. Taiwan's state-run power company, Taipower, says it's ramping up energy production following the shutdown of the country's last nuclear reactor on Saturday.
我们有4部大型的机组会上来，它总共的量有480万千瓦，隔3场一部机。 除以才只有95万千瓦，所以整个供电这个情况其实是无预的啦。
The comments come amid growing concerns over how Taiwan will meet rising energy demands and net zero targets without nuclear power. Environmental groups are also raising concerns that an end to nuclear power will lead to more severe air pollution. After the nuclear reactor shut down, Taiwan is expected to get nearly 85% of its electricity from fossil fuels. And thank you for joining us here on What's Up Taiwan. Head over to the TaiwanPlus website to find more of our news reports and other programs. Finally, check out the red carpet at the global premiere of the newest Mission Impossible film in London. I'm Eric Gao. We'll see you later.